Good evening, listeners, and welcome to this special extended edition of our news podcast. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Saudi Arabia is growing increasingly frustrated with the United States over President Donald Trump's handling off the wall with Iran, as concerns mount in Riyadh over both the conduct of the conflict and the risks it poses to the Gulf. According to analysts and officials cited by Financial Times, the kingdom now has an utter sense of disappointment with Washington, reflecting unease over what is being seen as sporadic decision-making and unpredictable messaging from the White House. At the heart of Saudis' concerns are Trump's public threats to target Iranian energy infrastructure, including power plants. A move Gulf officials fear could trigger large-scale retaliation across the region. Diplomats from multiple Arab states reportedly reached out urgently to U.S. officials after such remarks, warning that an escalation at that level would unleash missile attacks that regional defenses may not be able to fully absorb. Riyadh's discomfort has also been compounded by Trump's suggestion that Gulf countries could be expected to bear the financial cost of the war, despite having little control over its trajectory. Analysts say this has reinforced a perception within Saudi leadership that the U.S. is treating regional partners as both stakeholders and baymasters, without offering corresponding strategic clarity. The strain has been further aggravated by Trump's remarks about Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, including comments that were viewed in Riyadh as disparaging and UN diplomatic. Despite earlier praise, for Saudi leadership, such statements are seen not just as rhetorical slips, but as indicators of a broader unpredictability in U.S. engagement. Beyond rhetoric, the war itself has heightened Saudi vulnerabilities. Iran has already demonstrated its ability to strike across the Gulf, targeting energy facilities, desalination plants, and industrial infrastructure in multiple countries. For Saudi Arabia, heavily dependent on energy exports and critical infrastructure, the prospect of sustained attacks raises the risk of severe economic and humanitarian consequences that damage to desalination systems alone could have devastating effects, given the kingdom's reliance on them for water supply. The potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz remains another major concern. Trump's suggestion that regional states should take responsibility for reopening the White shipping lane has added to unease, with Gulf officials questioning both the feasibility and the strategic implications of such expectations. At the same time, Saudi Arabia finds itself in a difficult strategic position. While it has long viewed Iran as a regional threat and initially saw some advantage in Iran's military weakening, the evolving nature of the conflict has forced a reassessment. Now, the kingdom fears a scenario in which the U.S. either escalates the war unpredictably or withdraws prematurely after declaring victory, leaving behind a more aggressive and emboldened Iran. This dual risk of escalation without control and disengagement without resolution has driven Riyadh to prioritize containment and de-escalation. Saudi officials have been actively engaging with regional partners, including Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey, in efforts to push for a diplomatic resolution. There are also growing concerns about secondary escalation fronts. The entry of Iran-backed Houthi forces into the conflict has raised alarms about the security of the Bab al-Mandebi Strait, a critical maritime choke point. Any disruption there, combined with tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, could severely impact global trade and energy flows, further amplifying the stakes for Gulf economies. Taken together, the situation reflects a widening gap between Saudi Arabia's strategic priorities and the current trajectory of U.S. policy. Publicly, Riyadh continues to call for restraint and de-escalation. Privately, however, the message appears clearer. The kingdom is increasingly wary of a conflict that it did not initiate, cannot control, and may ultimately be forced to endure the consequences, regardless of how or when it ends. Don't forget to subscribe to Speed Time, share the episode, and stay locked in, because the world moves fast.